It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
That's right. Welcome in. Every Wednesday, we are the only show in America that actually puts statistics next to our predictions in humiliating fashion, oftentimes, putting our reputations and careers on the line. We'll get to write that down in an accountability session here in just a matter of moments. But the show is presented by our friends at Surly Brewing Company and TCL. No matter what you watch, TCL has award-winning TVs for any budget, any space, all with stunning picture quality. And TCL makes more than just TVs. They offer mobile products, audio devices, home appliances. TCL bringing you joy and simplicity through innovative technology. Learn more at TCL.com. Daily Vikings entertainment, and we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. And boys, we should, real quick, before we dive in, should we make a little announcement here? The expansion of Purple Daily?
Let's do it.
Yep.
So we've got some other things in the works here too, but we're going to continue doing the flagship daily Purple Daily shows that you have grown accustomed to with the three of us. But we're looking to add even more shows to the Purple Daily umbrella for 2022. And so we are bringing on board Thor Nystrom, who he was at NBC Sports Edge for a long time, and now just recently moved over to Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros. Lives in Minnesota. He's been a lifelong Vikings fan, and he's going to join up with Jesse Pierce from the Bar Down Beauties, who's been NHL.com and mostly of hockey coverage fame, and has joined Judd's Hockey Show on a number of occasions. But she has a background also covering football, longtime Vikings fan herself, and they're going to join up and do a podcast twice a week starting in early August as part of the Purple Daily umbrella of shows. So we're super pumped to welcome them aboard. Just two really fun and talented, entertaining, good humans that are going to bring probably a little bit of a different twist and take on things maybe than the three of us. So you'll be able to find those episodes in the Purple Daily podcast feed and on the Purple Daily YouTube channel with more information to come.
Most importantly, they have takes.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Pierce was the first person on Wild goaltending who had takes on Cam Talbot melting down. And it was great, and she proved to be right. So
Yes. So you can follow them. It's a Thorku, just THORKU on Twitter, and then Jesse with an I_Pierce, IE on the Pierce there on Twitter if you want to. So yeah, we're looking forward to them. Please welcome them with open arms and just let us know what you think. And we've got a couple other things in the mix too for 2022. But let's fire this up, Declan. Write that down. Let's get into it.
Most make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackie and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackie and Judd.
Presented in part by our friends at Surly Brewing Company. And in fact, I believe they have an event coming up here, and we are awarding tickets to it. I'll let you guys talk through that here real quick.
Ordinarily I talk about the beers, right? Because the beers are great. I talk about Furious. I talk about the Supremes. But in this case, with a very important event to which we are going to give you an opportunity to attend, I am going to turn this over to Declan Goff, who actually is going to do a far smoother job than I would on this one.
So Surly Brewing Company has a concert tomorrow, actually, on Thursday, July 14th. Mitski is coming to Surly Brewing Company. Mitski from 5:30 to 10 o'clock. We're giving away a free pair of tickets to this show. So if you would like to go, message us through the Score North app under the feedback portion saying you want to go to this show. I will pick a winner, and then you will be able to get to go to this great show at Surly Brewing Company, Mitski at the Festival Field. It's actually really cool if you've been to the Surly Brew Hall, which we saw a lot of Vikings fans at. It's got an awesome basically humongous backyard patio that has an awesome amphitheater and plenty of great beer options too. So if you want to go to the show and see Mitski, send us a message to the Score North app. We'll pick a winner, and you'll get to go to the show on Thursday, July 14th.
Awesome. Also a shout out to our friends at Underdog Fantasy and the Underdog Fantasy app. It's the best and easiest way to get a sweat on games. And for the upcoming football season, if you're like us, I love fantasy football, but I'm sometimes really bad on a Sunday at, oh man, this lineup change needs to happen, but I forgot, or I'm at brunch or whatever, or like, prepping for Vikings vent line or something. So here's the best part. For season-long drafts, no waivers, trades, or lineup setting. You draft a roster, and Underdog will take the highest scoring players, and those are your starters. So if a guy gets hurt, you forget, doesn't matter. He just won't accumulate points. Somebody else will, and they become your starter without you doing anything. Sign up now with the promo code SCORE, SKOR, and Underdog Fantasy will double your first deposit up to $100 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit of $10 or more. So easy, Judd can use it. The Underdog Fantasy app. That's
First time in 20 years, I believe, that I've actually looked forward to the beginning of the season because I'll be playing fantasy football. I quit like 20 years ago because I got sick of all the crap.
Underdog has brought Judd back to the fantasy sports lifestyle,
back, baby.
So, all right, here's how Write That Down works. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to participate, like our guy Andre in Hawaii is about to, send us a message through the Score North app. Let's get into it here. Accountability session, not usually very plentiful during the offseason. Judd had nothing come off the board, but you did say Baker Mayfield would not be a starting quarterback when the 2022 season begins. He has to beat out Sam Darnold, right? So it's a competition.
Yeah, I'm going to make a prediction today that is going to make that prediction wrong.
Okay.
Because I have
he's going to beat out Sam
I have
Darnold.
a feeling that I know how this is going to trend, and I'm trying to cover my tracks a little bit.
Okay. I actually had 2 things come off the board.
Wow.
I said Jimmy G will be traded to the Carolina Panthers before week 1. I don't think that's happening at this point.
That whole story is becoming really intriguing to me.
Yeah, like they maybe don't trust the guy that they gave up a bunch of picks to trade up for.
Correct.
Something like that.
That's what it's feeling like, at least.
I told you Baker Mayfield will be traded by training camp for nothing higher than a 6th-round pick, meaning a 6th-round pick or worse. It wound up being a 5th-round pick.
Oh, that's a bad beat.
It is kind of a bad beat. Listeners, Mike said the Browns will release Baker Mayfield and Mayfield will re-sign with a team at league minimum. Well, he got traded. And then Declan, you said Bo Levi Mitchell will throw for at least 300 yards and the Stampeders would beat the Elks in the CFL last week. Most of these things happened except for the 300-yard thing. He threw for 279 in like a 49-6 win or something.
Yeah, I got a prediction that's going to come back to hopefully get this back up. But yes.
These Bo Levi Mitchell takes. The regular season for the NFL can't come soon enough.
Yeah, the fans love the CFL.
Yep. So with that, I'm still leading at 37.5% completions over Declan at just under 31%, Judd at 24, listeners at 22.5. Declan leads with 7 touchdowns to my 5, listeners 4, and Judd's 2 on the season. So let's get him in here. Andre from Hawaii going to take his cracks at these predictions. So how long have you been a Vikings fan? What was your first Vikings fan moment of torment?
I would say 2009. The purple is running the family since as long as I've been alive. I didn't really start paying attention about 2009, and then it really started watching and cementing after the Vikings. I think it was in 2016 when they started 5-0, and then went downhill after that. So it's been running hard ever since.
That's a lot of pain in a relatively short period of time for a life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like everything is just cyclical with the Vikings. Like I became a fan in the 90s, and my first heartbreak was 1998, and then a few seasons later they started 6-0, and it's and then Andre comes in, and then in 2009 they go to the NFC Championship game, and then a few years later they go 5-0. It's like, I don't know.
Be
it's
careful.
Twilight Zone, man. Yeah. So here's how this works. We're going to start with Andre, and we're going to go around the room 3 different times. Vikings or football-related predictions. They must be, or they can be predictions about the show or people on the show. We'll count those as well. But
write this down.
You're first, Andre. Let's do it.
All right, I'm going to start out like Kirk Cousins after a few terrible games, and it's going to come out firing. So let me know if these are going to be touchdowns, because that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
So at least 3 Vikings players will have double-digit receiving touchdowns this season.
That's for sure a touchdown.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So that would mean Cousins probably has at least like 35, maybe 40 touchdown passes this year.
Yep.
What did
Off the
Stafford?
record.
Did Stafford have 40 last year?
Jefferson, Thielen, and whom do you think?
Off the record, probably KJ or Irv.
Irv in the red zone might be interesting.
Yeah. That might be a good
Or
one.
maybe they re-sign Kyle Rudolph, Judd, and he can just come in there inside the 20 with those big yellow
See you later. Bye.
gloves.
Or CJ
You're-
Ham, I haven't thought about
I'm
it.
done.
Dude,
Done with
CJ
the
Ham.
show.
CJ Ham could be it.
CJ Ham.
Just 10 swing passes
Gets
from
an
the 7-yard
MVP
line.
vote or two.
Let's do it.
Write this down.
Love that prediction. All right, Judd.
Okay, I'll start with the pick or with the prediction that's going to hedge my Baker Mayfield prediction that Phil showed from earlier, which I'm quite sure is going to be wrong, because I'm quite sure that Baker Mayfield will start Week 1 against the Cleveland Browns, of course, for the Carolina Panthers. Write this down. Sam Darnold will be traded by the Panthers before the regular season begins. So a quarterback will get hurt in training camp like Teddy did, and somebody will panic. I don't see any compelling case to have both of those guys. And I think they both might go into a big pout about it too, right? I don't like Sam. I don't like Baker. Couple of guys that have far too long underachieved. So I think that the Panthers will move on from Darnold before the regular season begins.
What do you think about the fact that I think it was you threw some nuggets out during NFL free agency, and the Carolina Panthers came out and said there was a report that they laughed at the notion that they would consider trading for Kirk Cousins.
They definitely called.
And life comes at you fast a few months later, and now you traded for Baker Mayfield. Wouldn't they rather? No, I don't know what. Maybe they didn't want to give up a first-round pick for Cousins, but wouldn't you rather have Kirk Cousins than Baker Mayfield if you're Carolina?
And this trade definitely shows they made a phone call.
Oh,
I
yes.
love the whole thing about the report. They laughed, and then you get the tweets. Oh, they're laughing at you. Your report's being laughed at. It's like they're laughing because they're embarrassed it got out.
Correct. Yeah.
Like that's why they're laughing. It's not because they're telling the truth. They're lying, which is fine. But
I'd be laughing nervously if I was in the Carolina Panthers front office or coaching staff too. Update my LinkedIn profile.
But I love how fans think, oh, see, the Panthers showed you, Judd Zolgad. The Carolina Panthers, Matt Rule.
See, they traded for Baker Mayfield.
Matt Rule's a buffoon.
I love Judd's disdain. We should have like a Mount Rushmore for Judd's football disdain right now. Kyle Rudolph, Baker,
Jason Zucker.
Yeah.
Well, these are different disdains, though. I don't think that Jason and Kyle are buffoons. I just think that they are in sports for themselves. Matt Rule's a buffoon. He's an idiot. Like he's a meathead. Like there's a difference between meatheads and selfishness.
Okay. I think we need a column. ScoreNorth.com. The difference between
I already wrote one about Cam.
Top 10 meatheads.
I wrote a Talbot one last night. So this is what.
Okay, Dex, let's get back on track here. All right, Dex.
Okay. My first prediction. And the Ndamukong Suh rumors are continuing to fly. Per Dan Kleiman of at NFL_, Dov Kleiman, excuse me. Let me put some respect in the name. Dov Kleiman. The Vikings and Raiders have had conversations about adding free agent defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh. So, let's write this down. The Vikings will sign Ndamukong Suh by August 1.
Okay.
Let's put it into the universe. They'll get Suh.
I think he wants to play in Vegas, right? That's kind of the feel, but maybe the Vikings are a fallback
Write
option.
this down.
That is
All
correct.
right. Write this down. Justin Jefferson has one 10-catch game in his entire NFL career, which is only 2 years, but he only has one 10. He had a couple games last year where he had back-to-back games with 4 and 5 targets against the Cowboys and the Ravens, which is ridiculous. That's not going to happen this year. In fact, write this down. Justin Jefferson will have at least 10 catches in a game sometime before the Vikings bye week. So early on, he will match his career high of one 10-catch game in the first few weeks. I just want to ask, is that a touchdown prediction or no? Is it just...
I think it's a really good completion. I don't think it's a touchdown prediction.
Yeah, I don't think it's
If you
touchdown.
specified the game, then yes. But you're giving yourself 6-7 game leeway for it to happen. So
And I think you're just right.
Okay.
I expect this.
We'll leave it as is for now.
All right.
Maybe we'll build off it later or something.
Write this down.
All right, back to Andre in Hawaii.
All right. Wide receiver Christian Watson from North Dakota State, who was reported by the Green Bay Packers, will record his first touchdown week 1 versus the Vikings.
Oh, you've taken those years of built-up hurt and are now just throwing them out there. You're like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Andre, I'm
Feel it coming.
sorry for this.
Write
team.
this
It's not your
down.
fault.
Yeah.
All right. Greg Joseph will have at least 2 game-winning kicks for the Vikings this season. So previously, Zim would be like, Joseph, go out there and make the kick or else you're not getting on the plane. And he'd be like, oh, Mr. Zimmer, I don't know if I can. But now
that's
he's
what it
going to be
sounds like.
he's now going to be emboldened. He's going to be confident. O'Connell's going to pump him up. And I believe that the karma changing around this team and the kicker, Greg Joseph, at least two game-winning field goals.
How do we define a game-winning kick?
The kick that puts Vikings ahead for good.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter?
I'd be comfortable with that.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I'm thinking like
Because if they're
second,
tied at 10 in the second quarter and he kicks a
Yeah.
field goal and then they never relinquish the lead.
I
so.
think it should be. I think the parameters should be a kick that puts them ahead, but I think fourth quarter is fair. Because if
Okay.
he hits it in the second quarter, it's not really the spirit of what I'm trying to get at.
Can we narrow it down even more and say in the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter or something? Because,
Sure.
let's say the game is 24-24 and the fourth quarter just starts and Greg Joseph kicks a field goal and the Vikings go up 27-24 and then the Vikings score a touchdown later. Is that a game-winning field goal?
I gotcha.
You know?
So
Can we say
just-
inside 5 minutes or something of the fourth quarter?
just to be clear, I think that a parameter.
Very nitpicky here.
Well, no, it's not nitpicky at all. It's
Wait, my
Judd's
spirit,
going to try and take credit for a first quarter
Don't-
field goal to
don't
put the
bring me into
Vikings
this.
up
It's
for
you two
good.
fighting again, you Martin Perez haters.
No, this is
look.
Martin Perez.
This is what I'm
from?
trying to get at. I'm trying to get at that he will kick a field goal that gives the Vikings the win, and I think it's the final points, too.
Okay.
So I'm not saying you
in
add
the fourth
on-
quarter and final points.
Yes, and it's the final 3 points. So it's a
Okay.
high score, or the Vikings are trailing by 1 or 2.
Okay, yeah. I'm just trying to exterminate
So
loopholes
I'm not
here.
trying to pile on here. Jeez.
We need the season to start.
Well, what are you just throwing out these vague predictions? Someone's got to
It's
come
not
in
vague.
here.
I'm saying it's a winning field goal.
The integrity of the game here.
Wow.
Oh, now you're worried about the integrity.
Yeah.
Carl Anthony Towns will be the man. Now you're worried
Write
about
it down. You like
integrity.
writing things down.
All right, back to Declan.
All right. When we did the sleeper picks to make the 53-man roster, I'll quantify it with just one player here. So Luigi Villan, who is one of those names, he will make the Vikings 53-man roster.
Wow.
Okay,
Write it down.
Luigi, let's get
I
it.
was gonna have a list of them. And I was like, well, that's not fair. It's all of them. But so I'll specify Villan. I think he has the best chances. So he'll make the Vikings 53-man roster.
I like it. Okay, write this down. So Kirk
Write it
Cousins
down. You like writing things down.
had only 7 interceptions last year. He's going to have double-digit interceptions this year, is my prediction. And I don't even know if it's a bad thing. You take a few more chances here and there, maybe you wind up. Well, he had 13 picks a couple years ago, so he will go back to double-digit interceptions in 2022, and maybe it's for the better. Maybe he opens
Write
up
it down. You like writing things down.
a little bit. All right, Andre in Hawaii, your third and final prediction.
All right, last one. Kellen Mond will get his first NFL career start during the 2022-2023 season.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah, we still don't really know much about Kellen Mond, right? He's third on the depth chart, Judd, during the offseason workouts behind
most
Mannion.
Yeah, I think most definitely.
So there could be some injuries in play here, something.
Off the record, I could see it being week 18, final week of the season. Vikings have a playoff spot clinched, or maybe not, and it doesn't matter.
Give Kirk a rest, rest that right arm from the 40 touchdowns he threw, the 30 touchdowns he spread across to Thielen, Jefferson, and KJ Osborne.
It's a $70 million arm, so we gotta be careful with that.
Yeah,
Exactly
put
right.
that elbow on ice.
Gold.
So, all right, Andre in Hawaii, since you've got this life-changing platform here with the entire world watching on Purple Daily, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this pinnacle moment?
Well, I am in Hawaii because of my girlfriend, so I feel like she needs a special shout out. The family back home in Minnesota and the family in Oregon, I wouldn't be a Vikings fan if it wasn't for them. So shout out Greenwald, Minnesota. That's all I can say.
Awesome, man.
Nice.
Great work. We'll definitely get you on again sometime.
Thank you guys.
Aloha. All right. Love me some Hawaii, man.
Hell
Some
yeah.
poke bowl, some shave ice.
I've never been there.
Oh,
Let's get it.
God,
Oh,
it's
dude.
incredible.
The flight
never been.
sucks, but
The flight stinks. Yeah.
because it's 2 legs. You probably have to fly into like LA or Phoenix, lay over, then 5 more hours. But once you're there,
you can direct out of Minneapolis. The problem is coming home. It's the red eye, so you land in Minneapolis at 6 a.m., which is a
I
little
actually
bit of a
like
trip.
that.
yeah, you can sleep on the plane.
Sleep on a plane, yeah.
I can't do that. So
You can't,
I don't like
really?
it. No, can't sleep on a plane. Can't do it.
Write this down.
All right.
It's my
My last
airplane
write
take,
that
yeah.
down. I'm not even going there. I just made a purposeful decision not to talk about sleeping on planes. Back to write that down. The Vikings will have at least one game flex to a Sunday night this season.
Okay.
So the Vikings will have at least one game flexed to a Sunday night NBC game this season.
Okay. Any thoughts on which one? Off the record?
I don't know. I mean, there's some December options for sure.
Yeah.
I just think that if they're competitive, they're going to be a pretty good storyline.
Don't they? They don't
Jefferson,
have a Sunday night
Cook.
game on the schedule, do they?
I don't think they do. I don't think that.
That's
but I just,
I love
I
Sunday
think,
football.
I think when you have Jefferson, and if that defense is good, it's going to be exciting. I just think that there's a pretty compelling case that if they are competitive, that it's going to be a pretty attractive team.
Okay.
Write this down.
All right, my final prediction, a CFL prediction time. All right, so last week I got burned. Bo Levi Mitchell didn't get me 300 yards. Well, this week in the CFL, we got the Calgary Stampeders against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Couple of undefeated teams in the CFL. Calgary's offense is on fire this year, led by my guy, Bo Levi Mitchell. So write it down. The Calgary Stampeders beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers by 10 points or more in CFL football this weekend.
I
These
now wish
CFL
I had talked
predictions,
about
man.
red-eye flights.
How about a red eye flight to go watch a CFL game?
CFL,
Would
you
you ever
can't
do
do
that?
it. I don't think you can
Write
do
it
it.
down. You like writing things down.
Right. Full disclosure, I was trying to find an updated list of CFL coaches on the hot seat to see what the odds
geez,
are.
so
I couldn't.
sweet.
I wanted to fire a CFL coach, but I couldn't find anything. So you know what? All right, let's do this.
Can't even
Okay.
name one.
Let's do this. I'm going to make one CFL prediction and one CFL prediction only. It's the only CFL prediction that I will make, I think, anyways. Don't hold me to this, Judd. Declan's making these petty little game predictions, right? I'm going to make a Grey Cup prediction.
Okay.
Oh,
Write
I
this
love it.
down.
I'm in.
Write this down. We're going to go with the Stampeders. The Stampeders
Okay.
are going to do it. The Calgary
Calgary
Stampeders will
Stampeders.
win the Grey Cup.
No Elks. No Blue Bombers. No Argos.
The Saskatchewan, whoever the hell they are. I don't know what their team name is, but no Alouettes. The Alouettes just fired their coach about 7
Oh,
years ago.
man.
Who was their coach?
No idea. Couldn't tell you.
Their coach was Mark Trestman at one point, I think, before he got the Bears job.
Right.
And I want to say former Packer coach Mike Sherman coached him briefly.
Okay.
I know
It's
my CFL.
The hallowed
I just
grounds
don't bring
of
it to our
Montreal
shows.
Alouettes. So there you go. Got your Grey Cup winner in the
Write it
house.
down. You like writing things
Score
down.
North
And,
CFL Today spin-off show will start in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Declan
Those
Goff
CFL
hosts.
those CFL predictions were presented by our friends over at Livia too. Just Judd's favorite
Okay.
place to lose weight is also a big fan of the CFL. I've been told.
That's exactly right. And let me bring you back in now because I'm guessing, and I want to give you all time because I'm guessing that you heard those CFL predictions and like sort of spaced out. I don't blame you one bit, but what I'm about to say, especially if you're trying to lose weight, is extremely important. Livia Weight Control Centers is the place to start. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's weight control. It's not weight loss. It's not diet. And that's because they help you take the weight off. I took off 40 pounds. And then most importantly, keep the weight off. And Dawn has joined me on the weight loss journey. So the Zolgad household, aside from Stella, is all in. She's down 10 pounds in 3 weeks. This works. It works in dropping the weight, which is as simple as possible, and it works in maintaining the weight loss as well. And now they've got a simple start plan. It's only $59. Call 855-GO-LIVEA, Livea.com, Livea.com starts your journey to the you that you want, Livea.com.
Hey, Dex, tell our audience about your favorite racetrack in northern Minnesota.
That's right, Brainerd International Raceway. It's coming back again. We had an event last June, and now Brainerd International Raceway is once again coming back in July. You're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be an absolute blast up on Brainerd International Raceway. Get your tickets at BIRMN.com to learn more. BIRMN.com. It's a great, you can do camping trips. There's plenty of stuff up there. It's a great time. BIRMN.com for Brainerd International Raceway.
Also worth noting here that millions of children need a caring adult role model, maybe to help with just creating a brighter future, get to a better school, whatever it may be. And Big Brothers Big Sisters is just one of the leading organizations to help pair bigs with littles. And Federated Insurance has been helping organize fundraising efforts since 2005 with their Federated Challenge. $44 million raised for Big Brothers Big Sisters. If you want to find out more about how you can contribute, or if you can, want to become a big yourself, federatedchallenge.org. That's federatedchallenge.org. All right, boys. It's time for What Are People Saying About the Minnesota Vikings? Or, in this case, what aren't people saying about the Minnesota Vikings? For the YouTube audience, I believe Declan has a graphic here from Nick Wright, Fox Sports 1. And it's a quarterback pyramid. And we'll explain this to the audio audience. This is Nick Wright's quarterback pyramid. So these are the best quarterbacks in the league in pyramid form. So the visual is Patrick Mahomes is at the top of the pyramid. And then there's two quarterbacks below him, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5 at the bottom that make up the pyramid. So what's my math there? 3, 6, 11, looks like 15 quarterbacks making up this pyramid. Patrick Mahomes, number 1. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert are 2 and 3. And then the third tier is Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow. The fourth tier of the pyramid is Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott. And then the fifth and final tier here is Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Derek Carr, Matt Ryan, and Trevor Lawrence. I guess my first question to you is, what are your thoughts on just the brilliance of using a pyramid structure to rank quarterbacks as opposed to just ranking them 1 through 15?
I actually think it's awesome. I wish that our show had come up with this concept, because I think it's like, it's a great way to take a dead time in football, and instead of just doing what everybody does, you come up with this, a pyramid scheme. I think it's fantastic. Nick Wright, congratulations. This is taking a hot take and putting a different spin, and I always appreciate that.
I think I like the fact that we're going from quarterback rankings to quarterback shapes. Like a pyramid is a shape, and we're just like ranking quarterbacks. What other things or shapes could we do? Like a quarterback serpentine, where like the head is Patrick Mahomes, and then like you sort of rank quarterbacks throughout the body of
Justin Herbert.
This sounds really weird, Declan. What you just said sort of creeped me out. I'm not going to lie.
And the legs of Lamar Jackson.
Okay, really stop.
And
do
the
serpentines
leadership
have
skills
legs?
of Derek Carr. And
okay, Ed Gein, you can stop now.
As far as the actual rankings themselves, notice anyone missing? And do you take issue with anyone missing?
I liked Kirk Cousins more than Matt Ryan on this list. I know Matt Ryan might have rejuvenation in Indianapolis. Atlanta's a dump now. Like, I get it. He might bounce back a little bit, but I will take Kirk Cousins over Matt Ryan any day. So at this point in their career, I should say, I will take Kirk Cousins over Matt Ryan. So I think there is some disrespect here. And obviously the Trevor Lawrence part is still, people still believe in him because he's a generational quarterback. I get it. Yeah. He was awful last year and terrible infrastructure. So he just naturally probably should be better next season. But I would swap Matt Ryan for Kirk Cousins on this list.
I also don't get this. Why is Herbert, who I really do like, above Burrow? And why is Russ below Dak? So like
These are
there
good
are some
questions,
things I
yeah.
don't understand completely here, and I would tend to agree with Dex. I think that you could very easily make a case that Matt Ryan could be replaced by Kirk.
So I love Herbert, and I actually
Yeah, he's really good.
don't have as much of a problem putting him really high on these lists, but above Tom Brady, above Joe Burrow, it seems a little aggressive and premature. I don't really get the Russ ranking here.
Correct.
Like Rodgers being in the third tier, I haven't heard his explanation for this, Nick Wright, but I'm guessing it's because he's just such a dud in the playoffs. Rodgers has been really bad in the playoffs, and now Devonte Adams is gone, so he's going to be, without one of the best weapons in the NFL. So I kind of get that. Now, would I rather have Rodgers or Stafford for 2022? Probably Rodgers. The Russell Wilson thing's weird, though. Like, I don't know how you can say Russell Wilson's worse than Dak Prescott or Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to show people in Denver. The Trevor Lawrence thing, people don't really know what to do with him because he was supposed to flash in year one, but then he got stuck with Urban Meyer and the Jaguars, and the whole thing was just a total clown show. So this is more of a preemptive ranking, right? It's not what Lawrence has been in his rookie year. It's what, now that he's got an actual competent Super Bowl winning head coach that knows how to craft a quarterback room in Doug Peterson.
Yep.
But it is, I don't know. I do think Kirk is, as a certified Kirk hater for the last 2 or 3 years, I still think he's one of the 15 best quarterbacks in the world. So I would have to move either Matt Ryan or Trevor Lawrence out of here to make room for him.
Yeah, I'm with Dex. I would move Ryan out. I really think that although they're different quarterbacks and different personalities, I think Carr and Cousins, just from what you get, are very close.
Yep.
I think they're really close. I think Carr has more impact in the locker room. I think Carr's teammates gravitate to him more than Kirk's do. But I think when you look at the end product, those two guys are extremely close.
No. What do you guys think it is? And we can probably take this off now. Dax, it was a great pyramid.
I loved it.
But
I absolutely love that idea, Nick.
just
Wright.
the
ranking
ranking quarterbacks within a shape that's just a next level
We should
way
adopt
to
it.
It sort of took the
Really
whole
should.
idea and turned it on its head, and I like that.
We'll add that, by the way. We're going to put together sort of a master list of quarterback rankings and figure out where, national media, where do they think Kirk Cousins ranks. But, I don't know that I've seen any national outlets analytically based or screaming talking heads like Nick Wright. I don't think anyone's put Kirk Cousins in the top 10. And some are leaving him out. Like Chris Sims had him 16th. Nick Wright doesn't have him in the 15. Not that matters here or there, but what do you think it is about these national perceptions? He puts up all these numbers, and I think it's funny because the national perception probably lines up more with what we tend to think on this show, which is the numbers don't tell the whole story. He's just kind of a fool's gold stat packing quarterback. But why do you think he gets disrespected, quote unquote?
Well, first of all, I think the national perception on Cousins is lower than ours. Not by a lot, but slightly. Like, I think we put him around 14 or 15 or on his best day, 12 at times or something. The national perception is definitely now, it seems like, becoming he is not an upper echelon guy. He's a mid-pack guy consistently, which is close to what we say, but I feel it's a little bit harsher. I think the feeling is this. His body of work in this league as a starter is very large. Like, it's not 3 years. It's 2 teams.
Yeah.
He makes a ton of money. He was parachuted in 2018 onto a very good team with a great defense, and they did not make the playoffs. I think people right now are saying, until you show me different, this is you. And aside from the Crusaders, fans and media are smart enough now to know that quarterback statistics, just straight stats, have to be taken with a grain of salt.
You got to dig deeper. Yeah.
Because the league is basically begging you to put up great stats. Like, they're like, can we change another rule? Because we want more stats. And I know why. And I almost don't care about that. But the point is, savvy media and savvy fans aren't fooled now by what become counting numbers that can be used in discussions to say that, oh, no, this guy's fantastic. And I think that's why. I think everybody now wants Kirk to show us that we are wrong. And he's going to get that chance now.
Some of it's an age thing too, right? If Kirk was putting up 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns and 70% completions as a 26-year-old, Justin Herbert's 24. How can you put Justin Herbert above Kirk Cousins? He hasn't won anything or been to the playoffs either. Yeah, but he has 10 fewer years experience in the NFL compared to Kirk, or 9 fewer years, whatever it is. So people are kind of looking at when they put Justin Herbert above Cousins. I think he is better. Just like if you just watch the games too, it's like, wow, that guy, his arm, his mobility, just everything. But even if you said, yeah, they should actually be pretty close. Why is one guy considered a top 5 guy and the other one's outside the top 15? I think people are allowing the possibility of improvement to creep in with Justin Herbert, because like if he's this when he's 24, what's he going to be when he's 27 or 30 years old? Cousins is 34, and so he's considered, and maybe there is another level to his game, but he is largely considered a finished product. He's a guy that can put up some numbers in the regular season within a system. He's not very improvisational. He's not going to overcome pressure or anything like that, and he has one playoff win in his entire career to this point. And you can blame all the things around him, whatever it is, but most quarterbacks have things that are not perfect around them. And because of Cousins' age and track record, he's looked at as, there's not a lot more ascension to be had there. That's where Kevin O'Connell has to come in and prove people wrong and say, no, there is a level here. Stafford had a level. We can get Kirk to that next level too. Speaking of disrespect, ESPN continuing with their top 10 players at every position, where they went. Jeremy Fowler was the point guard for this, NFL reporter, former Vikings beat writer, where they surveyed 50 league executives, coaches, and scouts and players to help stack the top 10 players at each position. And wide receivers are the group that they dove into today. Let's go down the list. Let's see what 50 people inside the NFL think about.
There's no disrespect possible here.
Number 1, Devonte Adams. He was also number 1 last year.
Yep, not surprising.
Number 2, Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
He was an honorable mention last year. Now he's number 2.
Also not surprising.
Number 3, Jamar Chase. He was unranked last year because he was a rookie, and these 50 executives and players and stuff didn't have the foresight to think that he was going to blow up like that. And then we get to Justin Jefferson, number 4.
Okay.
Who last year he was an honorable mention going into this. The highest ranking that anyone had him was 2. The lowest ranking was outside of the top 10. There was someone in the collection that had him outside of the top 10.
Drug test that person.
Name.
Test that person and then fire them immediately. How can you you should not be voting if you are, who in the league wouldn't vote him a top 10?
Dude, I don't know.
He's got an argument for 1. Now, I don't think he's won yet, but he's got an argument.
So here's what some anonymous people are saying. An NFL offensive coach said, quote, he's not a burner, but he's got everything else. Instincts, competitive, great route runner, can win at all levels of the field. He did run a 4.40, so maybe he's not a Randy Moss in his prime burner, but he's still very fast. An AFC coach said, quote, he wants to be the best in the game. You can feel that. He'll get a gazillion targets in that new Vikings offense.
I will tell you this right now, and this is going to infuriate the Crusaders, but I'm still going to say it because I don't care. If Justin Jefferson was planted on the Cincinnati Bengals and Jamar Chase was a Viking, those two would be flipped.
I agree with that.
If Joe Burrow was Jefferson's quarterback, and that's the nuance of the discussion that a lot of people don't understand.
I think I agree with that. Yeah, Jamar Chase is awesome. And I think those guys are going to be, Devonte Adams is going to age out here at some point. They're going to be kind of fighting for the next 8 years and maybe there's a couple other guys in there too, among the best receivers in the NFL.
I'm super curious to see Devonte playing with Carr.
Me too.
Because Carr, I don't dislike Carr, but he's not regular season Rodgers.
Yeah,
now, playoffs have been a problem, but regular season Rodgers is incredible.
Yeah. Boy, the disrespect today. Kirk can't make a top 15 list from Fox Sports 1, and Justin Jefferson can't make a top 3 list on ESPN among 50 coaches, executives, and players. Flyover country, man.
I'd be more upset about Kirk Like that's a special type of hate for Kirk.
It is a special type of hate.
It's a special type of. I mean, I think Kirk. I think the national outlook on Kirk has become whatever, and we're all like, let's talk about him, and they're like, not really. We'll talk about Matt Ryan instead.
Well, he needs to. In fairness, at some point, Kirk just needs to shut people up.
Correct.
And it's not, and you're not going to get the perfect circumstance. I'm sorry, you're not going to get a flawless offensive line. You're not going to get a flawless, injury-free defense. There's going to be things to overcome, like the Bengals last year. And at some point, you're just going to have to go on the road in a playoff game and stick it to somebody. That's what people have been waiting. Until he does that, he's not going to show up on some of these lists. He's not going to get the respect that he deserves, according to some of the Cousins Crusaders. And I think that's fair. You're getting paid.
Absolutely.
You're getting paid like a guy that's supposed to overcome some of these things, and so let's see it.
If Cousins is not graduated into the top, let's say 13 of all of these lists, but by the end of this season, something's gone very wrong.
Are you firing Kevin O'Connell? Is that what you're doing right now?
Well, I'm saying that they will be proven wrong.
Is he on the hot seat
now? If Cousins is not, I don't think he's going to be top 10. I just don't. But I mean, if he's not like 11 or 12 or pressing the top 10, something's gone wrong. Because there's not a lot of time here to
I heard
wait
hot
now.
Seat Kevin O'Connell right there. Let's get him back on.
But I'm just saying, you guys, think about this. There's not a lot of time to like, well, next year Kirk will get him. This is sort of this is going to work right now. This guy's getting old.
Yeah, but you know how it goes, right? That's Kirk. After the 2018 debacle, it was the wrong offensive coordinator, and we're gonna put a better staff around him. And then it was the code. Now we can work on code words. Now that we've done that for a year,
Right.
we can have better communication. Like there's always something, and there's always going to be something. It's on you to overcome it, and I think that's what we're waiting for here in 2022.
And that's why I'm saying I am here ready to pass judgment in February of 2020.
We're aware.
No, but I mean, judgment
Fully
will
aware.
come. Judgment Day is coming. Purple Day.
Judgment Day. There you go.
Judgment Day with my
gosh.
surly. Thank you.
We also are about to celebrate one of Ricky Fowler. I just saw committed to the 3M
Hell
Open
yes.
today, Dex. Ricky Fowler,
Yes.
baby.
Really?
Let's get
Big
it.
Fowler guy. Love me some Ricky Fowler. He did have a 10, I believe, on hole 18 last year, which is one of the toughest courses and one of the toughest holes at the 3M Open. It's their signature hole. When we did our little interview with the director a few weeks ago, Phil, he mentioned that the 3M Open actually had the most birdies of any event on tour, and it had the most balls in the water of any event on
Very
tour.
feast or famine. Yep.
Because of that signature hole 18. So hopefully no 10s for Ricky Fowler. But you can go to the 3M Open July 18th to the 24th. You can get your tickets at 3mopen.com/tickets. TPC Twin Cities, one of the best courses in the country, one of the best courses all around. Go check them out. 3mopen.com/tickets. Kids 15 and under get in free too with a paid adult ticket.
Awesome. All right, that is a wrap on Purple Daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die, and we're counting down just about 2 weeks until training camp. Let's get it.